This is the story of a man whose path from a troubled childhood to a high-ranking position in the CIA took a dark and treacherous turn. Aldrich Ames was not your typical spy. His journey began in River Falls, Wisconsin, and took him to the corridors of power in Washington, D.C. Along the way, he grappled with personal demons, financial pressures, and the allure of a forbidden romance. His actions would have far-reaching consequences, compromising the lives of countless intelligence assets and reshaping the landscape of Cold War espionage. Aldrich Ames was a man with a complex background that eventually led him down a treacherous path of espionage. Born in River Falls, Wisconsin, his father initially worked as a college lecturer but later joined the CIA in Virginia, where the family accompanied him to Southeast Asia. Carlton, Ames's father, struggled with alcoholism, which significantly affected his career at the CIA. Aldrich's journey into the world of espionage began during his high school years at McLean High School in Virginia when he started working for the CIA. His role was relatively low-ranking as a records analyst, marking classified documents for filing during his summers. Despite not planning a long-term career with the agency, Ames completed a bachelor's degree in history at George Washington University after initially working for the CIA. His performance and promotion to GS-7 led to his acceptance into the career trainee program, although he had several alcohol-related brushes with the police during this time. In 1969, Ames married Nancy Siegebarth, a fellow CIA officer he had met in the career trainee program. His assignment in Ankara involved targeting Soviet intelligence officers for recruitment. However, his performance was rated as only satisfactory, leading him to contemplate leaving the agency. Ames returned to CIA headquarters in 1972, spending the next 4 years in the Soviet East European SE division. Although his performance reviews were generally positive, concerns about his excessive drinking and behavior were noted. In 1976, he was assigned to New York City, where he handled important Soviet assets, but issues like procrastination and security violations persisted. In 1981, Ames accepted a posting to Mexico City, while his wife remained in New York. His evaluations in Mexico were mediocre, and he engaged in extramarital affairs, including one with a CIA informant, Maria del Rosario Casas Dupuy. Ames married Rosario in 1985, and their financial difficulties, coupled with his heavy drinking, led him to consider espionage. Ames returned to the SE division in Washington in 1983, granting him access to sensitive CIA plans and operations against the KGB and GRU. He formally separated from Nancy and reported his romantic relationship with Rosario to the CIA. Financial pressures and Rosario's spending habits contributed to his motivations for espionage. Aldrich Ames began assisting another CIA office in evaluating Soviet embassy officials as potential intelligence assets while working for the CIA. In April 1985, he provided the Soviets with seemingly valueless information to establish his credentials as a CIA insider, requesting $50,000 in return. Ames later admitted that he had not initially planned to do more, but felt he had crossed a line he could never step back from. Ames identified more than 10 top-level CIA and FBI sources reporting on Soviet activities. Betraying these intelligence assets not only promised substantial financial gain but also reduced the risk of his espionage being discovered. The CIA's network of Soviet bloc agents began disappearing at an alarming rate, leading to suspicions within the agency. Initial investigations into the losses initially focused on other potential causes, such as Soviet bugs or a code breach. The CIA attributed the losses to another former CIA agent, Edward Lee Howard, who had also spied for the Soviets. However, when the agency lost 3 other crucial assets that Howard could not have known about, it became clear that another source was responsible. Ames continued to meet openly with his Soviet contact, Sergei Dmitrievich Chuvakin, and provided progress reports to the CIA and FBI, portraying these meetings as an attempt to recruit Chuvakin. He received substantial payments, eventually totaling $4.6 million, allowing him to lead a lifestyle far beyond the means of a CIA officer. Ames explained his newfound wealth by claiming it came from his Colombian wife's affluent family. In mid-May 1985, Oleg Gordievsky, the Soviet chief of station in London, came under suspicion of spying for MI6. There was speculation that Ames might have reported Gordievsky's activities to Soviet counterintelligence. However, investigations later indicated that Ames did not inform the Soviets about Gordievsky until June 1985, after he was already under KGB surveillance. In 1986, following the loss of CIA assets, Ames expressed concerns about being a suspect to the KGB. To divert U.S. investigators, the KGB falsely claimed that the mole was stationed at the Warrenton Training Center in Virginia, leading to an extensive but fruitless investigation. Ames was later posted to Rome in 1986, where his performance continued to be problematic, marked by issues such as excessive drinking. Nevertheless, he was reassigned to the CIA's Counterintelligence Center Analysis Group in 1990 to 1991, granting him access to sensitive data, including information on American double agents. Oleg Gordievsky, after defecting, praised the quality and quantity of secrets provided by Ames, emphasizing the significant impact of his espionage activities on Soviet intelligence. The CIA initiated an investigative team to uncover the source of intelligence leaks in late 1986, led by Paul Redmond and comprising members like Jean Vertefuel, Sandra Grimes, Diana Worthen, and Dan Payne. The team explored various possible reasons for the leaks, including the KGB's potential bugging of the agency, intercepting communications, or having a mole within the CIA. However, by 1990, the CIA was convinced of the existence of a mole but struggled to identify the source. In November 1989, a colleague reported that Ames was living a lifestyle far beyond the means of a CIA officer, raising suspicions. Ames's wife's family was not as wealthy as he had claimed. One of the mole hunt team members, Diana Worthen, knew Rosario, Ames's wife, from before her marriage and became suspicious when Rosario spoke about expensive home upgrades. Additionally, Rosario's parents were known to have little money, but now they appeared to be well off. However, the CIA investigation proceeded slowly, and even when the investigator examining Ames's finances began a training course, no immediate replacement was assigned. The CIA began to focus on Ames when his personal appearance notably improved. He underwent cosmetic dentistry to cap his yellowed teeth from heavy smoking and started wearing tailor-made suits that even his superiors couldn't afford. Ames's extravagant spending became increasingly conspicuous, including purchasing a $540,000 house in cash, a $50,000 Jaguar, $99,000 in home remodeling and redecoration costs, and monthly phone bills exceeding $6,000, primarily due to calls by his wife to her family in Colombia. Additionally, Ames carried premium credit cards, with minimum monthly payments that exceeded his monthly salary, further fueling suspicions about the source of his newfound wealth. Ames surprisingly passed 2 polygraph examinations in 1986 and 1991 while spying for the Soviet Union, despite demonstrating deceptive answers to some questions. The CIA later believed that the friendly demeanor of the examiners may have prevented the proper physiological response during the tests. In March 1993, an extensive investigation into Aldrich Ames was launched by the CIA and FBI. This investigation included electronic surveillance, sifting through his discarded materials, and even the installation of a monitor in his car to track his movements. From November 1993 until his eventual arrest in early 1994, Ames was placed under nearly constant physical surveillance. Recognizing that Ames was scheduled to attend a conference in Moscow in early 1994, the FBI believed they could no longer delay his apprehension. On February 21, 1994, Ames and his wife were arrested. At the time of his arrest, Ames protested his innocence, telling officers, "You're making a big mistake. You must have the wrong man." On February 22, 1994, Ames and his wife were officially charged by the Department of Justice with spying for the Soviet Union and Russia. Ames eventually pleaded guilty to the charges on April 28 and received a life imprisonment sentence. As part of a plea agreement, his wife received a 5-year prison sentence for tax evasion and conspiracy to commit espionage. During his court proceedings, Ames admitted to compromising virtually all Soviet agents of the CIA and other American and foreign services known to me. He confessed to providing a huge quantity of information on United States foreign, defense, and security policies. It's estimated that the information he provided led to the compromise of at least 100 American intelligence operations and the execution of at least 10 sources. Additionally, Ames's betrayal allowed the KGB to manipulate the CIA by using controlled agents to provide both authentic intelligence and disinformation from 1986 to 1993, some of which found its way into CIA intelligence reports, including those received by 3 U.S. presidents. Ames also revealed that he had not been afraid of being caught by the FBI or CIA, but had feared Soviet defectors, as they often played a role in exposing American spies. When discussing polygraph tests, Ames explained that building rapport and confidence with the examiner were key factors in passing, making the examiner believe that the test held no significance to him. The CIA faced criticism for not scrutinizing Ames earlier, despite the glaring improvement in his lifestyle. This delay led to a huge uproar in Congress when CIA Director James Woolsey decided against dismissing or demoting anyone within the agency. Woolsey's stance was met with dissatisfaction, and he eventually resigned under pressure. Ames's attorney, Plato Kacharis, had threatened to challenge the legality of FBI searches and seizures in Ames's home and office, arguing that conventional search warrants were not obtained. However, Ames's guilty plea rendered this threat irrelevant. Consequently, Congress passed a new law granting the specific power to carry out such searches to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. Today, Aldrich Ames serves a life sentence in the medium-security Federal Correctional Institution in Terre Haute, Indiana.